what's happening, y'all? Coming with one of those Rico reports where we talk about a lot of different topics in a relatively short amount of time as far as the topics go, because each one of these topics could be a separate video, but I know y'all like the longer videos where it's a lot included in one, so I'm gonna talk about everything that's been going on lately in one nice video, starting with Russel Wilson and the fact that the Washington football team is interested in him if he becomes available. JJ Watt, no. Taylor Heinicke's 2-year re-signing, breaking down some of the contract details and why this was a smart signing on both sides. Some free agents at other positions that will more than likely end up leaving their current teams. Should we take a look at some of those guys? And Cameron Curl finally getting some of the credit he deserves. We're going to talk about all of that and a little bit more. Let's get it. Alright, so first of all, Jason La Canfora reported that the Washington football team is monitoring the Seahawks situation with Russell Wilson. And if he were to become available somehow, we would definitely be one of the teams called. Now, sounds very unlikely that they would trade him. There was a report that they had no plans on trading him. But after he went out and said in public that he's been growing increasingly frustrated with the talent around him, specifically the offensive line, and he has been the most sacked guy since he was drafted to the league. In 9 seasons, he's been sacked 394 times. Now, granted, some of those are his fault, like he'll run into sacks sometimes, but his offensive line also just isn't good. So I can understand his frustration. But after he went out and voiced that and then had several interviews where, you know, he didn't super dive deep into how he was frustrated and all of that. He went out and did his little PR run where he basically just made it seem like, I guess it's not as bad as it seems. But he also did show that he was serious. Like, the Seahawks need to do something to help me, protect me, so that we can win some games. And then after all of that, the Seahawks came out and said, their officials said that they did not like him going to the public with this information, and they're very frustrated with him and things like that. So we'll monitor the situation. I still think it's highly unlikely that he gets traded, but if he does end up getting traded, look for us to be one of the spots. I mean, he grew up in Virginia. He said that he keeps tabs on this organization because he grew up a burgundy and gold fan. So he would love to play for this franchise if he were to get the chance. Plus, I mean, with the defense, offensive line, you can argue Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, who's better. If we can just get a wide receiver too that's as good as Tyler Lockett, easier said than done. But if we can, with Corey Davis and Allen Robinson, all these other options in free agency, then our receiving core is just as good, potentially even better. Like I said, our offensive line is already better by default, and our defense is easily better. I mean, they have Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner, but overall, our defense is better than the Seahawks. Better run game, too. So he would love playing for this team. We get Russell Wilson, we're immediate Super Bowl contenders. But, I mean, I don't want to dive too long into that, because, again, I think it's unlikely that he ends up getting traded. But, again, if he does, we're definitely one of the top candidates. Now I want to talk about Taylor Heinicke. First of all, congratulations on your 2-year contract, smart signing by us. He has a salary of $1 million in 2021 and $1.5 million in 2022. So that's about what his cap hit will be. But through bonuses and incentives, he can earn a max value of $8.75 million over the course of those 2 years. And on the screen, there's a complete breakdown of his contract details if you're interested. But this makes sense. He was a restricted free agent and a right of first refusal tender. And he's going to return to the team that he already has chemistry with, that he showed some pretty good potential with. And he's finally getting a true shot at the NFL level. Even we don't just get a certified like Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson type of guy. I believe Heinicke will be given a chance in training camp to compete for the starting job position. I mean, whether we trade up for a quarterback in the draft, or even if we bring in like a Marcus Mariota or some random, you know, not a top tier guy, I feel like Taylor Heinicke will have an honest chance at starting for this team going into 2021. And even beyond that, I mean, even if you get a Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, which I doubt, but if it happens, Taylor Heinicke will still have a great opportunity to be a great backup in this league, arguably the best backup in the NFL. So this just makes a lot of sense for him. This makes a lot of sense for us because, again, he won't cost more than a little over $2 million a year against the salary cap, which is excellent value for any quarterback on your roster, let alone a potential starter. And, of course, with Heinicke, the reason that we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket and just go with him as the surefire starter in 2021 is injuries. In 3 starts, he's gotten hurt 3 times in his NFL career. But he talked about his injuries in his presser after signing the contract. He said that it just comes from laying it all on the line to just get a shot at the NFL level, to just keep getting chances to get to where he is now. So it was worth it. And he says now that he does have like a real contract and a real opportunity at the NFL level, and he's not just fighting for his job every snap that he takes, he says he'll be a little bit more conservative running the ball. So we'll see. I mean, I think there is something to that. I think that while we should not put all of our eggs in one basket and just assume he's going to be our future franchise quarterback, I also think we should take into account that he was like playing for his life every game that he played. So it kind of makes sense that he got hurt. He was forcing things. Now he can kind of take his foot off the pedal just a little bit, because his injuries come from running the ball. That touchdown that he dove in for against the Buccaneers in the playoff game, he didn't exactly have to do that. It was a great play, but I mean, he put his health on the line. He'll probably avoid doing things like that in the future. I believe he can still use his legs to pick up first downs, make off-schedule throws and plays and things like that to improvise. But, I mean, just going head first with Buccaneers defenders to try to get a touchdown when you can just live to fight another play, I think he'll avoid those type of things. Speaking of quarterbacks and injuries, Kyle Allen is progressing in his rehab, and it's estimated that he will be fully recovered by April from the dislocated ankle that ended his 2020 season. Me personally, I don't like Kyle Allen. I feel like it's smart to sign him, I guess, because the type of restricted free agent he is, we can offer him the minimum of $800,000 per season, and he would just have to accept that contract. So, I mean, I guess paying potentially a third-string quarterback $800,000 really is just not even a dent in the salary cap. So it just makes sense to have him. But I definitely don't want to see Kyle Allen on the field at any point, ever, really. He's a decent backup, pretty cool as a backup, but if we have to go to Kyle Allen, I feel like we're just in trouble in general anyway. Not terrible, but definitely should dispel any possibilities that Kyle Allen can be a franchise quarterback and a consistent starter. Plug and play, yeah, but yeah, beyond that, nah. Next up, Ken Burgundy on Twitter @BurgundyBurner reported that the Washington football team met with several following prospects at the recent Senior Bowl: cornerback Darren Hall from San Diego State, Ifeatu Melifonwu, cornerback from Syracuse, Jonathan Cooper, edge from Ohio State, edge Dalen Hayes from Notre Dame, and guard Robert Jones from Middle Tennessee. And I'm going to keep y'all updated with all of the guys that they're seriously looking at, they're meeting with, and taking extensive looks at. And y'all already know, with one of the 5 mock drafts I do throughout this offseason is the very realistic one, like a week or 2 before the draft. So like early April is when I'm going to release it, and it's going to be based on who they really seemed like they were interested in, who they had meetings with, who they look closely at on their pro days and things like that. And these guys are from the Senior Bowl. And again, I'm going to keep y'all updated with all of these prospects we're potentially interested in, because now they're giving me a list of guys to look at first when I do my film sessions, because I want to know who we have an honest chance of getting, and I want to know whether or not these are good potential prospects and what round they may go in. I mean, 3rd, 5th, 7th, you know what I'm saying? Moving on, there's names out there. Orlando Brown from the Ravens, Pro Bowl level tackle. He's going to be available. He's already said that he plans on leaving the Ravens. Tyrell Williams, wide receiver from the Raiders, a nice potential number 2 receiver. Allen Robinson from the Bears, and it's reported that he's willing to play for anybody. It's just going to be based on who offers him the most money. He has no attachment to any specific team yet. And then there's also Kenny Golladay, who turned down big money from the Lions. So it just seems like he just wants out of there. So we need to monitor this situation. There's a lot of free agents that are going to be available. Speaking of that, here's a nice free agency chart. It was tweeted out by Mike Clay NFL. That's his @ on Twitter, Mike Clay. This is the 2021 free agency cheat sheet. At the top right, it shows every team's weaknesses and strengths and rankings at certain things like offense, defense, overall, and then they specifically break down position groups, and you can tell by the number and the color how bad or good we are in certain things based on what they say, and I mostly agree with all of it. And then it's just this huge archive of all of the free agents that will be available at every position. So I'm just giving y'all this resource because I don't like to hold things to myself. I really appreciate my Street Scores family. Again, I'm never going to call y'all fans, so like, I just feel like the smarter this fan base is, the better the debates I can have, the less I have to repeat myself, the smarter the discussions and points I have to refute against and things like that. I just want us to be a smarter fan base overall, and whenever I come across random sources and helpful things like this, I'm always going to share it with y'all. So y'all see it on the screen, but also just go to Mike Clay NFL on Twitter and you can go get a closer look at this and take a nice long look at it and use it as a reference whenever we're discussing anything. Again, I don't need any thanks or nothing. I just want this fan base to be a smarter fan base. Because I'm not always right. So if I give y'all the resources to come up with a better opinion than I do, and then y'all debate me and your opinion is the better opinion and is right, then I'm happy. I learned something. I'm a smarter person now. I feel like the better resources our fan base has, the smarter we can all be. Not just y'all, but me also. And then just wanted to announce that the Washington football cheerleading program is on pause. Jamelia Kinney, the cheerleading director, has been removed from the position. The team is bringing in a rebranding consultant, and the team is currently under investigation for mistreatment of female employees and sexual misconduct. So again, a lot more controversy seems to never stop. This is a lot of stuff from the previous regimes, but now the current regime with Ron Rivera and company have to deal with the mess. It seems like they're purging it all away with all of the firings and releases and things like that. And even Kyle Smith got caught in the crossfire. But it seems like at some point, maybe in the near future, this team will be wholesome from top to bottom, smart, all of that. And of course, as far as the cheerleaders go, man, I hope everything is okay. And I hope the program can come back with a new face, a new look, strong as ever, and they can get back to doing what they do best and what they love to do, cheerleading. And lastly, Cameron Curl finally getting some of the credit he deserves. CBS did a redraft of the 2020 NFL Draft, and they had Cameron Curl going in the first round, pick 27th overall to the Seahawks. And if that isn't still in the draft, I don't know what is. Because if you remember, he was drafted in round 7, pick 216th overall. And CBS, with their redraft, have him going all the way up to 27. And I can argue he should have gone even before that in the redraft. But even so, going from the 7th to the 1st, still in the draft, easily, no more debates. And I wanted to make sure I ended it on that, man, because, hey, man, congratulations to Cameron Curl, bro. He deserves all of the praise. I'm so excited what he's going to do in the future for this franchise, man. Our defense is proven to be something special. Once we can get this quarterback position right, Super Bowl contenders, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. I appreciate the view. Please like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe if you haven't. Of course, man, definitely get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about everything. I mean, even including the J.J. Watt situation. Please let me know how y'all feel about everything. I'm behind in the comment sections. I'm working on it. I'm getting to y'all. It's been very busy, but I will be reading them. Even if I don't reply, I do read most of them. But my goal is to read and reply to all of them. So I'm on my way to that. Working on it. And again, please get in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about everything with the quarterback situations and the free agents we can possibly pick up. All of that type of stuff. And as always, man, I really appreciate everybody that gives to the channel. Everybody that donates, everybody that does whatever they can to support the channel, liking the videos, pulling up to every live stream, all of that, man. I really appreciate y'all. And of course, I appreciate all of my sponsors, especially the Pro Bowl sponsors whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now, man. I really appreciate all of y'all, man. I will catch y'all later. See y'all later on this evening / tonight at 8 p.m. with the Friday night broadcast stream that we do every week. Me and Shay, man, make sure y'all pull up. Always funny and informative. Catch y'all later. I'm out.